What up, fam? It's your boy, Boy 2024, streaming to you live. Yeah, you can probably tell what movie I just got back from. Yes, I saw The Mandalorian and Grogu in IMAX. I got my limited edition IMAX poster. I got my limited edition Grogu holographic trading card from the new Star Wars Unlimited trading card game. So I got my sweet swag. Yes, I saw the movie in IMAX 3D. This is going to be a tougher review to do. I always like doing reviews where I'm like, it's a common thing with the internet. You either love something or you hate something. Like, those are the most entertaining reviews. When you say something is just kind of mid, it's just kind of like whatever. It's so hard to make that like an entertaining or interesting review. You know what I mean? Oh, hold on. I'm getting a phone call. Oh my God, it's Pedro. It's Pedro. I have to answer if it's Pedro. This is so unprofessional. I'm sorry. I have to answer the call. Yo, Pedro, what up, fam? Yeah, what's up? Oh my God, chat. He's asking me about the movie. He wants to make sure I'm gonna say something nice in my review. Pedro, I'm live. I'm already live. Yeah. No, don't hang up. Don't hang up, Pedro. No, I'm streaming, but it's fine. I answered the call. I can't hang up on you. No, don't hang up. Yeah, no, what's up? Yeah, no, I mean, I'm gonna review it. I saw the movie. Don't worry. He wanted to make sure that I saw the movie. He asked me he is asking me if I checked the numbers. Yeah, I'm looking at the numbers. It's doing fine. It's not like setting the world on fire or anything, but it's a movie. It's doing okay, I think, by movie standards, in 2026 post COVID. Yeah, no. How are you doing? How's the missus? Oh no, I keep forgetting. There's no missus. There's no Mrs. Pascal. Like, you're actually single. I can't believe one of the most handsome, successful men in Hollywood is single. That's crazy. That's crazy. Pedro says he likes it that way though. Yeah, I feel that. Yeah, no, man. I mean, I'm gonna review the movie. I have to maintain my integrity. Like, just because you're a close personal friend, I can't be biased. Okay, I can't. Judge the movie any differently than I would any other movie I see, even though I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I'll be just, honest about it. I'll say what I liked and what I didn't like, and that'll be that. Yeah, now he's asking me about my movie. Yeah, my movie, I took inspiration from the title of your movie. It's going to be The Slender Boy and Sydney Sweeney. It's still in pre-production, but yeah, we're getting there. Any luck, by the way, yeah, any luck that, do you have any, do you think you might be able to get Sydney Sweeney for the movie? Do you have any contacts in the industry? Okay, you don't have to laugh that hard. He's just laughing in my face. That's fine. I mean, listen, every day, look, her scene from Devil Wears Prada 2 got cut, from what I hear. Her show Euphoria is bombing right now, so like every day the bar kind of lowers for Sydney Sweeney. I'm just hoping that, holding out hope, like eventually we'll get there. Like maybe we just have to lower that bar a few more notches. Like maybe she just has to have like a couple more failures, and then it'll be like, oh, okay, yeah, I will be in the Slender Boy movie. You know what I mean? He's like, keep dreaming. Keep dreaming. But yeah, no, I'm gonna have to get back to the review, man. You keep on keeping on. You're doing great. You're in literally every movie and show right now. So like, even if this movie doesn't make all the money in the world, I think you're gonna be fine financially. I think everything else you're doing is making so much bank. So like, you're gonna be fine, Pedro. You're gonna be fine. You don't need to worry about that. Is there any chance you could get me Gina Carano's number, by the way? He just hung up. That's our little thing. Like, when I want him to hang up, I can just ask about Gina Carano, and he just kind of shuts down completely, and he just like hits the eject button. So that's fine. He gets his jetpack on, and he flies away. That's fine. But yes, The Mandalorian and Grogu. I did see the movie. I know I don't talk about it much on the channel, and that's for, like, intentionally. I am a huge Star Wars fan. I try not to talk about it on the channel because it would be so easy. It's like a slippery slope. It's the same thing like with the comic book stuff. It's like, because that Harley Quinn fart comic I originally did, that was supposed to be one and done. I know I've been doing a lot more comic reviews because they've been doing well and I enjoy them. But I don't want this to just become a comic book channel, because there's plenty of those. Same thing with Star Wars. Like, dear God, there's so many like Star Wars Explained or whatever. So many Star Wars fan channels out there. It's like, I don't want that to become this. even though I mean, it easily could. I trust me, I love Star Wars. I could talk about Star Wars all fucking day. Like, I could do plenty of videos on Star Wars, and they would probably get lots of hits because Star Wars is, or at least once upon a time was the biggest franchise in the U.S. Now that would probably be Marvel. I would have to guess, the MCU. But yeah, no, I could do that, but I don't want to do that because, again, that would be like, I want to be kind of that different voice out there. Like, I don't want to be saying the exact same thing everyone else is saying, because what's the point, And that's the thing with Star Wars. I don't really have any hot takes. Like, I could voice my opinions, and it's something that you've heard time and time again on the internet, on YouTube, for sure. Like, yeah, I'll say it real quick. The original trilogy is almost flawless. I love the original trilogy. They're what made me fall in love with movies in the first place, basically. The prequels are, they like everyone else says, Episode 6 was still good, and then after Episode 6, they made a bunch more stuff, and with varying quality. And the sequel trilogy, varying quality. Everything post after Disney acquired Star Wars, everything kind of went downhill. And again, this is nothing. This type of complaining is something that you've heard a million times, so it's like, I don't really want to beat a dead horse, but like, if you want to know my opinions on Star Wars, they are the same things that you've been hearing quite a bit on the internet over the past decade. So it's like, is it a decade? Yeah, like, no, oh my god, yeah, and that's what's crazy to me is in December of 2025, we had the 10th anniversary of The Force Awakens. It's already been a decade. Oh my god, I feel so old. And Disney, weirdly enough, they didn't do anything. They didn't re-release the movie in theaters. Like, that would have been perfect. Like, they did a freaking re-release for Revenge of the Sith for an anniversary recently, but yeah, nothing for Force Awakens, which is crazy to me. Because that's like the one that we actually liked, or at least at first we were like, oh yeah, we liked the first one in that trilogy, and then they made some more movies, and that was that. But yeah, no, it's funny. The Mandalorian, it's like the one bright spot. It's like the one. I think people, like I said, with the sequel trilogy, there's a lot of different opinions out there where it went wrong. Some people, would say that it went wrong right away, or some people would say Episode 9 was where, shit the bed. Mandalorian, the show is where this is like the one thing that Disney got right, and I think most Star Wars fans agree with that. That's like the one thing we can agree on is like, yeah, Mandalorian, it's good. It's like the one good thing they did. That we can all agree upon. As far as like the Disney Star Wars era, I mean, even that comes with a caveat, an asterisk. If that's I do need to give my thoughts on the show for a little bit, but like, I don't want that to turn into a review of the show. I'm talking about the movie, but like this movie is a sequel to the show, so I kind of have to talk about the show. But yeah, the real brief broad strokes. Mandalorian. Okay, and there's so much to say. Again, that's why I don't want this to become a Star Wars channel. I'm just reviewing the Grogu movie because I do have some thoughts, some things to say about the movie. I'm one of the few people that watched it, and Pedro Pascal, a close personal friend, he wanted me to see the movie and review it, so I did, of course. So Disney has made a lot of shows. Okay, and here's the thing, and I might do a deep dive into this later on, but like, so two other shows come to mind in the recent consciousness. They did Andor and they did The Acolyte. Okay, both of these shows are of very wide, varying quality, varying reception from the fans, but both of them, I would say, have a very similar problem where when you watch both, they don't, and I know this is not a good like criticism or a good way to put it, but neither of them feels like Star Wars. That's the real problem. I mean, The Acolyte is like straight up just a bad show. People have been shitting on nonstop, and it doesn't feel like Star Wars. It feels like, even saying it feels like Star Wars fan fiction is like giving too much credit to. I've read Star Wars fan fiction that's better than The Acolyte. I've read Star Wars fan fiction that's better than the fucking Rise of Skywalker. Okay, that movie felt like fan fiction. Anyway, but Andor is a very solid show. I might have to review that at some point, but it's a very good show. But I don't think it's a good Star Wars show, which is a weird thing to say. It never like feels like Star Wars. It really does, and I know that's not like a very helpful criticism or a very helpful way to put it. But sometimes like Star Wars, it's just a feeling you get. It's just a feeling like I'm watching these movies and shows, and I like feel a certain way, and. Another broad thing I will say is, and most people agree, is Star Wars, as far as the video games and the comic books and the TV shows, they've been doing a decent job. They've been doing okay. It's really the movies. It's really the movies where they just been shitting the bed and like don't know what they're doing. And that's a huge shame to me, because I know people are saying like, yo, dude, like, why don't you're complaining? Why don't you just watch The Mandalorian? That's a good show. Stop complaining. Well, and it is a good show. But the problem is I want Star Wars to be good movies again, because Star Wars was always a movie series to me, and Star Wars was what basically made me fall in love with the magic of movies, going to the cinema. Star Wars made me fall in love with movies. So to hear that the Star Wars movies, like the movie section of Star Wars, is doing bad, like that's pretty depressing. That's pretty bad. that's actually really, really bad and depressing. But yeah, Andor, I do recommend it, but it just doesn't feel like Star Wars. And The Mandalorian is the first project by them where it felt like Star Wars to me. And I mean, part of that had to do with it taking place right after Return of the Jedi, him being on Tatooine, all these characters that you love from the movies and the shows popping up. That helped. But it's also just kind of a feeling. So Now I'm going to kind of get into it. I promise I'll like actually talk about the show and the movie in a second. I'm just giving like these broad, like vague opinions. I apologize. I'm just talking about my feelings. And that's what the Force is. We're talking about like our feelings and everything. You're searching our feelings. You know it to be true. What do I mean by this feels like Star Wars? So here, let me give an example. So with a lot of the films, and this is like widely known, George Lucas was heavily inspired by both movie serials like Flash Gordon, Indiana Jones, stuff like that. Or excuse me, Indiana Jones was influenced by those type of action adventure serials. Same with Star Wars being influenced by Flash Gordon, stuff like that. That's where that title crawl comes from at the beginning of each movie. But he was also very, very influenced by Japanese samurai films, The Hidden Fortress, stuff like that. And similarly, that's why this feels like Star Wars to me. I like how even though this is very much a sci-fi western, it's very Clint Eastwood, it's very much of a spaghetti western, but it's also, and this is where it feels like Star Wars, it has all these influences, right? It's all these different things in our public consciousness, in our pop culture. So what comes to mind, and to me, Star Wars has always been heavily influenced by samurai, fiction and movies and stuff. That's why the Star Wars Visions episode, oh yeah, that's like an anime they did. That's also really cool. There's one where it's like literally feudal Japan, and they have like swords instead of lightsabers, but they're like energy swords, or anyway. So that was really cool. I also need to mention, I know there's a Darth Maul cartoon that just blew up. Like, I need to watch that. I'll probably review that soon. I know that was, once again, the Star Wars cartoons, the TV shows, they've been doing very, very well. It's just the movies. It's just the movies where they've been stumbling, and I hope they get back on their feet, because this is yet another example of them kind of stumbling, unfortunately. And I wanted this, I went out opening weekend, and I saw this in IMAX 3D. I supported this, even though I wasn't hearing very good reviews about it. And personally, yeah, I'm not going to give a very good review. Like, TLDR, at best, it's a 6 out of 10. It's like an average or slightly above average movie. It's not a great movie. It's not really worth seeing in the theater. And I say that as a huge Star Wars fanboy. If it was good, I would tell you. I would say, like, hey, go out and see this. If you're a mega fan of the show, I say go out and see it, because you're gonna. It is what the title says. Like, you're gonna enjoy it, but as far as your average consumer, maybe someone who hasn't even seen all the TV show, yeah, I mean, anyway, where was I? So yeah, so this is not confirmed, but I am pretty sure that I almost said George Lucas. George Lucas had nothing to do with this, but it feels like George Lucas did, because Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, the people who made this show, I have to assume, and I don't know this for a fact, but I have to assume that they were influenced by samurai fiction as well. Most notably, it's a book, I believe it's a manga and also a live-action film series, but look up Lone Wolf and Cub. It's about the samurai who adopts this little baby, and he's like this great, cool, stoic samurai warrior, but he's always pushing, it's called like the baby cart series or something like that. He's always pushing along this baby cart, and he'll like, cover the hood of the cart when he starts, the bloody, samurai battles with like the other warriors or whatever, and then goes back to being a dad and pushing the cart. And I swear to God, like Mando and Grogu, they have that type of relationship where there is a part where he's literally pushing like this little space pod cart with the baby Yoda inside, and the exact same way the hood drops down when he has to have a shootout fight with like these enemy warriors, and then he goes back to being a cute dad. It's the same shit. It's the same shit. And I don't say that as a criticism. I'm saying that like That's what makes it feel like Star Wars to me, is like it's obviously influenced by this other thing. I don't know. Maybe I'm the only one. I've never heard anyone else make that connection before, so maybe I'm completely off base. But like that's the connection that I made like instantly when I started watching the show. I don't know. Yeah, I think that's valid. But yeah, I think the show feels like Star Wars. I'm going to go heavily deep into spoilers for both the show and the movie, because this movie is a continuation of the show, so I kind of have to talk about the show and also the movie. There's really not much to spoil. Like I said, if you want the spoiler-free review, it's a 6 out of 10 at best. You really don't need to watch it. Wait for streaming. You know, don't be crazy like me and see it in IMAX. It's so not worth seeing in IMAX 3D. It's really not. I mean, I did it to get like the best experience possible, because honestly the visuals aren't that much better than the show, and even with the IMAX 3D adding to it, it really doesn't add that much. Like, here's what the 3D adds. When I almost said Boba Fett. When Mando has like that, I call it the tuning fork rifle, which I like it. That's a throwback to a lot of people don't know this. Boba Fett first appeared in the Star Wars Holiday Special, in that animated segment. That's where Boba Fett comes from. But he had that like tuning fork rifle, and so Mando actually gets the same freaking rifle throughout the show and also this movie, which I love. I love the little Easter eggs. I love the little callbacks. But yeah, when Mando uses the tuning fork rifle, it like juts out at the camera. It like juts out of the screen at you. That's the only 3D. That's like the only really notable 3D effect. It's so not worth it. It's so not worth it. Like, just. I don't even think it's worth seeing in a theater. It's not worth paying IMAX prices or 3D prices or Dolby prices. Just watch it on streaming. It'll be on Disney Plus in a matter of months. And honestly, you can even skip it entirely, because nothing really notable happens in it. I'm just gonna cut to the chase on that. Nothing really notable happens. Nothing. Honestly, it's funny. It's like, even though it takes place after the show, it could be a standalone. Like, really. As long as you know who these characters are, like baseline knowledge, like I would say you don't even have to finish season 1. You just have to watch a couple episodes and then you could watch this movie. And I read an article about this where there were a couple of like things people were saying, like, because there was originally a season 4 planned and then that was scrapped in lieu of this movie. And what I heard was some people were saying that they just smushed a couple of season 4 episodes together to make this movie. I don't think that's true. Because what I got out of this movie, and another article I read was saying that like they wanted to make this movie intentionally to be as like newcomer friendly as possible. Like, you don't have to watch the show to watch this movie. Even though I talked to plenty of people, and even though the show was a big hit, I was surprised. A lot of people that I personally know were saying like, oh, I haven't watched the show, or I'm not caught up on the show. I'm not going to see the movie because of that. And that definitely hurt the movie, I think. But I think that they were trying to mitigate that, because they were saying how like, oh, well, we're going to make this newcomer friendly. Like, you don't have to be caught up on the show. You don't have to watch the show. You can just watch this movie. And I think that was the intention, because honestly, this movie, it really doesn't make mention of anything. It doesn't really, aside from, Mandalorian and Grogu and their relationship, it really doesn't make mention of anything else notable from the series. Nobody from the series really pops up again. It's a shame, and it does feel like a standalone adventure, and not in a good way. Like, because again, this is supposed to be the big. This is sold as like the big movie version, like the big finale, the conclusion to the TV show. This is like in lieu of season 4, and it feels like a side episode from an early season that somehow got turned into a movie. And the movie's long. It's over 2 hours. It's over 2. I can't believe it's like 2. It's like 2.5. No, not 2.5. It's like 2 hours and 15 minutes. It feels so long, and it is long, and like not much happen. Like you would think that it would be like the big, the Revenge of the Sith of the Mandalorian show. You know what I mean? And it's not. It's not. Like, it's like a little side adventure. Yeah. Before I go into the movie further, let me just real brief give my thoughts on the show once again. So, yeah, no, the show is great. This comes with an asterisk. So the show, season 1 and season 2 are great. I'm actually, if anything, the movie got me to reactivate my Disney Plus account. I'm actually rewatching the entire Mandalorian show now. I'm in the middle of season 2. This will give you an idea that what the episode I just watched tonight was when Mando first not reunites. Excuse me. This is the first time he met her. Bo-Katan sent him to find Ahsoka Tano, and so she shows up, and then she tells him to send Grogu to this place for him to like send out like a distress call through the Force. And if you've seen the show, you know who's going to answer. I mean, if you're a Star Wars fan in general, there aren't that many Jedi left, so it's like, it's not Ahsoka Tano. Who's left? His name rhymes with Duke. Yeah, who's going to answer the call? It rhymes with Duke Guy Walker. That's where I'm at in the show. The show is great. I forgot how much I love the show. I forgot how epic and cinematic the show felt. And that's a shame. Again, I'm going to directly compare the show to the movie. There are parts of the show that feel more cinematic than this movie, that feel more epic in scope, that have more epic cameos from Hollywood actors. Again, Rosario Dawson plays Ahsoka Tano in the episode I just watched. You know, Michael Biehn from the Terminator franchise shows up as a minor character as well. I mean, this season alone, season 2, just talking about season 2, we have frickin' Boba Fett shows up. You know, Duke Skywalker just shows up. You know, there's Bo-Katan Freeze from Clone Wars. Like there's these awesome big cameos in the show. Where are they in the movie? Where are they in the movie? So I'll tell you right now, in the movie, who do we get? Well, we get Jeremy Allen White from The Bear. I do like him a lot as an actor. He voices a character, but it's honestly not a very likable character, and it's just a voice role. Let's keep going. You get, what's his name? Zeb from Clone Wars. He shows up for a bit. Or, excuse me, not from Clone Wars. He's from Rebels. And he's like all over the marketing. It's like, Zeb's in the movie. I don't. Is that something people are getting excited about? I really didn't feel anything at all when I saw him. Like, again, it's like, I'm not even like the hugest Rebels fan. I didn't finish Rebels, but like, I don't know, like couldn't you have like the main character from Rebels, Ezra Bridger? Couldn't he show up? Wouldn't that be a little more exciting? Or maybe have Grand Admiral Thrawn. I know he's a villain in Rebels. Maybe have him show up in the movie. Maybe have that spicy Twi'lek chick. What's her name? Hera Syndulla. Have her show up. She's in one of the shows. She shows up. She's played by Mary Elizabeth Winstead. Yeah, again, a movie actress. Like, have her show up in this movie. Nope. You get Zeb. You can have Zeb for a little bit. Sigourney Weaver plays this New Republic officer who like gives Mando his missions and stuff. I couldn't remember. I was like, was she in the show? No, she was not. I double checked. She's not in the show. She is a new character. She's like the one new character in this movie, played by a Hollywood actress. That was like their one big get. I don't know how much they had to pay her to be in the movie. Probably a lot, because she's not actually in the movie very much. So spoilers. She's not in the movie very much. Like, you know, you see her in the trailer. She's all over the marketing. They're like, oh, we have Sigourney Weaver. It's like, no, bro. She gives him a couple missions. And then at the very, 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 very end, she shows up in her X-Wing to help him out. But I swear to God, she's like sleepwalking through this movie. She's like delivering her lines like she's fucking half asleep. Like, you know, she's like in an X-Wing blowing people up, and she's like, all right, you know, Gold Leader, go over here. Like she's like asleep at the wheel. I'm surprised her X-Wing isn't going like, yeah, you know, she's like falling asleep at the wheel. So yeah, Sigourney Weaver's in the movie. If that gets you excited, it really didn't. I'm sorry, like it was a very small cameo. It really didn't do anything for me at all. I would have much preferred. I'm sure it was expensive to get her in the movie. I would have much preferred you spend that money on, once again, one of these other Star Wars characters showing up. Anyone from Clone Wars, Rebels, anyone from the other movies. Frickin', you know, like again. Duke Skywalker was in season 2 of the show, and he was also in an episode of Book of Boba Fett. Like, you know, freaking Boba Fett. You know, Boba Fett's in season 2 of Mandalorian. Couldn't Boba Fett show up in this movie? You know, somebody, Jesus Christ, Bo-Katan Freeze, Boba Fett, like Duke, like anyone, Bueller, anyone, Bueller. I'm just turning into Ben Stein. Bueller, could Bueller show up? I'll take Bueller at this point. Matthew Broderick, have him show up. What's he up to? Yeah, the cameos sucked, or basically were non-existent. It's so, and I get it, where they're like, well, we can't. It's like the double-edged sword. They're like, it has to be accessible. It has to be available to newcomers who don't know anything. You know, but then why are you making this? Why are you setting this movie after the end of season 3? You know, the timing of this movie is so off too. And that's what I heard is like the whole thing was like, oh, you know, and they haven't had a movie for a while. The last movie was Rise of Skywalker in 2019. But for some reason, this movie, they were like, oh my god, like they were like, we don't have a Star Wars movie this year. We need a movie this year. You know, forget season 4 of Mandalorian. Like turn that into a movie. Make a Mandalorian movie. We need a movie this year. And it's like the timing is so weird. It's like, why? Why did you need a movie this year? This was obviously rushed out the door just to like have something. This feels like one of those contractual obligation things where it's like, you know, like when they make Marvel movies just to hold on to the rights of the characters. It's like that's what I swear to God, that's what this felt like. It's like, oh, we have to make this movie or else we won't have the access to Mando anymore. And it's like, they like people are already over the show. I'll tell you that right now, and you can tell from the box office. The box office is so bad. I was just kind of like telling Pedro a white lie, but it's like I was looking at the numbers. Like let's just get to brass tacks. All right, let's just you know, be honest here. So Star Wars used to be like the biggest franchise in the world. It was a huge Hollywood blockbuster. Even the sequel trilogy, which I hate. You know, I hate those movies, and even the prequel trilogy, you could say a lot about. I'm like warming up to them over the years. The prequels made money. They were always like a big event when those movies came out. And I still, you know, I defend Revenge of the Sith. Revenge of the Sith was like the last good Star Wars movie in my opinion. That was like a really epic. That was the epic conclusion to that series that we needed. Unlike Rise of Skywalker, unlike this, you know, really mid, boring movie, Mandalorian and Grogu. But yeah, even the sequel trilogy, those movies made money. I looked it up. Rise of Skywalker, the last Star Wars movie, made about $1 billion, capital B, $1 billion. How much do you think this movie's making? How much money do you think this movie's making? This movie's budget was about like 175 million. Right now, it's basically breaking even. It's basically made 175 million. That's pathetic. That's pathetic. I remember when the Han Solo movie came out, and that was a similar thing where like they spent so much and it really wasn't making much money. It just broke even. And I'm like, Star Wars, like how is this happening? What are you doing? What are you doing? Like this is pathetic. This is pathetic. You made a Han Solo movie. You made a movie. You made a movie in the most popular franchise about the most popular character, Han Solo, in that franchise, and your movie just breaks even. Like, what are you doing? And then this movie, the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, like Rise of Skywalker, say what you want about it. I thought it was a piece of shit, but that movie made $1 billion. There are people that like that movie. No one likes this movie. Like no one saw this movie. No one saw this movie, and the people that saw this movie don't like this movie. They say it's mid. They say it's boring. They say they fell asleep. And I kind of did. I'll get to my deep thoughts in a minute, but yeah, I don't have much good to say about this movie, to be honest with you. But I get it. Like this movie, it's not making, like no one wants to see it. No one. It's like barely breaking even, which is so bad because, you know, first of all, it's like the only Star Wars movie this year, but also it's the one. It was the one successful thing in Disney, like the Mandalorian show. It was the one good thing. Everyone likes the Mandalorian show. Asterisk that they did. Season 1 and 2 are very good. Again, I'm going through my rewatch, but I'm dreading getting to season 3. Season 3 is not very good. That's where the show really faltered, and there was a big wait between 2 and 3, which made it even worse when 3 came out. So that's what let me say this. That's one good thing I'll say about the movie, is that it is at least focused on the Mandalorian and Grogu. With season 3, I don't know what the hell happened, but it kind of became the Bo-Katan Freeze show. I don't know if they were like setting up a spinoff with her or something, but I swear to God, Mando all of a sudden was like an incompetent buffoon, and he would constantly get captured or like knocked out or like, you know, put in peril, where Bo-Katan Freeze and her crew had to like fly in and save him. That happens like 5 times in that season. It's crazy to me. It's crazy to me how incompetent he is in his own show in that season. As long as I'm complaining, let me just say this, because I'll never get the chance to complain about this again. Boba Fett shows up in season 2 of Mandalorian, and he's awesome. Like he was so cool in that show. When he gets his own spin-off show, the same shit happens. He's so incompetent. He's a buffoon. He gets knocked out. He gets captured. He gets his ass beat, and his female companion Fennec Shand has to save him time and time again. And I'm like, why am I watching a show about this guy? Like, what happened to you? You were so cool in, you know, Mandalorian. Same shit with Mandalorian himself. Season 1 and 2, he's so cool. He's so badass. He's independent. Season 3, his female companion Bo-Katan has to save his ass every other episode. It's crazy to me. Crazy. But that's the one good thing that this movie got right. You've seen the trailer. You've seen the epic scene where he takes on 3 AT-AT walkers. You remember how much trouble even Luke had in Empire taking down a walker? Mando takes them down. Mando fights some walkers and takes them down, and it's so cool. Like, he is an unstoppable killing machine. He is a one-man army. He takes down those walkers. No one can touch him. He is so badass. He is the Mandalorian. So they got that right. Like, no, you know, he doesn't have to be saved in that. He's like the badass that we remember from season 1 and 2. So that's good. You did a good thing. In fact, and that's like the first scene when Mando's on Hoth and he's fighting those walkers and like he's just mowing down stormtroopers. Like no one can touch him. He's just like blocking everything with his Beskar armor, you know, blocking like blaster fire and bombing the shit out of walkers and making them fall over off the cliff. Like that was really cool. It's like the one good action scene. It's like the one expensive looking, cinematic looking action scene that felt like, oh, I'm glad I saw this on IMAX. Like, I'm glad I saw this in the theater. Everything else doesn't look that good, and it doesn't feel that epic. We blew our load in that first scene, and it never gets back to that. It never gets back to that. The rest of it feels like an episode of the show, because the rest of the episode, I'm even saying it, the rest of the episode, the rest of the movie, he's just on Tatooine. It's always like either a sand planet or like these dark brown hallways or these caves, or he's always like underground, or sometimes he's in the water, or sometimes he's in a swamp. But like, you know, it's Star Wars. You can go anywhere. You can go to any planet. You know, like that's another thing I'll say about the sequel trilogy. As much as I hate them, you see the Disney money on the screen. You see them go to all these very interesting planets, interesting scenery, interesting, you know, wildlife and monsters and enemies and all this. You know, like they're very visually good-looking movies. I hate them, but like I can still recognize quality in certain regards when I can recognize the talent behind it, even though I don't, you know, prefer the acting or the writing or anything like that. Like the production value, it's a movie. It looks like a movie. I didn't have that problem with Rise of Skywalker or Last Jedi, even though I certainly had problems with those movies, but they looked like movies. They were good-looking movies, goddammit. They looked like they belonged in the theater. Mandalorian and Grogu looks like an episode of the show, and it looks like a cheaper episode of the show. Like it's really sad. It's really, I don't know like what happened. I don't know the backstory. I don't know if Disney said like, yeah, like you can't have that much of a budget this time because, you know, this isn't like an episode of the trilogy. This is just a Mandalorian adventure, but it's like you need to spend the money to get the money back, or else people aren't, you know. And I heard people saying that from the trailer. As soon as the trailer dropped, they're like, this doesn't look that good. It looks like an episode of the show. Why would I see this in a theater? Why don't I just wait a month for it to stream on Disney Plus? It's like, yeah, I can't argue. Like, even if I like this movie, and honestly, I kind of don't. But like, even if I was trying to argue for this movie, I can't argue with that. Like, I can't argue. Like, Disney shot themselves in the foot with that shit. Where they you know, everything's on Disney Plus a month later. Yeah, you know, why would you go see this in a theater unless it was like really freaking good or had really high production values that you want to see on an IMAX screen? And it doesn't look that good. And the other way they shot themselves in the foot is, again, I know they're like, well, this has to be accessible because people haven't seen the show, and so, you know, we can't really make reference to other characters. Like, people won't know who Bo-Katan freezes. People won't know who Boba... People... Are you kidding me? People won't know who Boba Fett is. People who've watched the original trilogy won't know who Boba Fett is. Every Star Wars fan alive knows who Boba Fett is. Every Star Wars fan who knows who Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker are knows who Boba Fett is. You could have put Boba Fett in the movie. I don't know why you didn't. That would have been the easiest cameo to do, or to have Duke Skywalker show up. But they're like, we can't like have Bo-Katan freeze. We can't have Ezra Bridger. We can't have Thrawn. We can't have Ahsoka Tano. We can't have any of these characters that you would need prior knowledge from the show, even though it's a sequel to the show. Of course, you know, and guess what? Like, that backfired on you anyway, because I already know plenty of people, like I said, who aren't watching your movie because they haven't seen the show. Even though you went to all those great lengths to make it accessible to every single person who hasn't seen the show, those people aren't watching anyway. So what you should have done, you should have just continued the storyline. You should have just continued on with the canon and had those cameos that would have made the movie more exciting. You know, it can be done. I'm going to switch over to the anime side of things for a second, but like, look at these recent big hits, which honestly did surprise me a lot, because you have things like the Chainsaw Man movie, okay? You have Demon Slayer Infinity Castle. Both of those made bank internationally, both in Japan and the US. They made a shit ton of money, which honestly is very surprising to me because, you know, not that those aren't great. Like, those are some of the best anime movies that have ever been made. They're amazing. They're amazing movies. But my surprise comes from the fact that they are sequels to a TV show. You cannot watch Infinity Castle without having seen every other season of Demon Slayer. You'll be so confused. You won't know who's going on. You won't know who any of these people are. They don't have the time to explain the past 5 seasons of Demon Slayer. So that's what makes it shocking to me that movie did so well, because that means every single person walking into that theater had to have been caught up on Demon Slayer. Same thing with Chainsaw Man. It's like, you can't just walk into that. You won't know anything. But they took that risk, and it paid off big time because it's a satisfying continuation of that storyline. It's a satisfying plot, and that's what this movie needed, and it didn't have it. All right, enough. I haven't even talked about the movie. I apologize. I've just been ranting and bitching, and that's what the version of this channel would be if it was just a Star Wars channel. That's why I'm trying hard to not turn it into that. I promise you, I'm not going to let the Star Wars fanboy take over. I'm trying. I'm just doing this one review of this one movie, and like I said, I might if I really like the like I said, I don't like to do reviews where I say something is just mid. It's like a 6 out of 10. I don't have much to say. If I really like the Darth Maul show on Disney Plus, I still have the subscription. I'm going to use it. You don't have to finish Mando. I'll watch that. If I really have something worthwhile to say, if I really enjoy the show, then I will make a review about that, and that will probably, I don't want this to be a big thing. I don't want this to become a Star Wars channel. So like that's the only other thing I might do. Anyway, so that's my promise to you. I'm going to keep the Star Wars fanboy in check. I promise. Maybe. Blah, blah. Do it. I shoot the lightning out of my hands. Okay, so the movie starts out, like I said, he's on a mission to capture this guy, and he has to fight these walkers, and it's really cool. And that was just like one little mission. And this is what I wanted the movie to be, and unfortunately it wasn't. But General Ward or whatever, the Sigourney Weaver, new character, she's the one giving him these missions, because now Mando, if you haven't seen the show, oh yeah, his ship, by the way, the Razor Crest, blew up. His iconic ship that was destroyed in the show. I think they maybe forgot that because they still have that in like the marketing. And in the movie, it's like real quick. Like Sigourney Weaver's like, oh no, we built it. Don't worry, we have because he's like, I don't even have a ship to go on these missions. And Sigourney Weaver's like, no, I got you a new ship. It's fine. And so it's just like the Razor Crest. Anyway, but yeah, she has like this deck of cards, like all these. He works for the New Republic now, and so there are all these like old Imperial officers, or all these like high priority targets that are threats to the Galactic Republic or whatever, the New Republic. So she has like this deck of cards, all these targets, and he even says in the trailer, he's like, oh, like just give me your deck, I'll go through your deck of cards, like I'll just take out every single guy in your deck of cards, and like that'll and earn my keep or whatever, and earn my money for my supplies or whatever. And that's what I wanted this to be, kind of an anthology of like, every whatever 20 minutes, or he's on a new mission, he's like taking out a new target on this planet, and that would be a great opportunity for like this set piece, this set piece, this set piece, all these different backdrops, all these different interesting little worlds he could explore. No, he just goes basically on just one mission. I see the review's already going on long. I'm going to try and trust me, there's not much plot to cover, so I'm going to wrap this up in the next few minutes. He just goes on one mission basically, because there's like the one thing on Hoth, and he does that pretty quick. And then here's the real mission. Ready? So Jabba the Hutt had a son. I can't remember his name, Rada or something like that. But he's the Jeremy Allen White character. It's also really weird, like hearing a Hutt talk in English, but that's how you got the Jeremy Allen White cameo. It's fine. It's just a little weird hearing him talk. It's also fun seeing like he like works out a lot because he's in these like gladiatorial battles. It's fun seeing like kind of a buff Hutt. It reminds me of there's one of the Star Wars Legends books where Leia goes on a mission. There are like Jedi Hutts, believe it or not, like, or whatever that race would be called. I think they are called Hutts, but she has to fight like a rogue Hutt Jedi, ex-Jedi, and so like seeing like a Hutt charging at her with like a lightsaber, that's actually a pretty scary image. And similarly, like when you see Rada in the gladiator fights, like he's pretty intimidating. He's pretty imposing. The way he fights, it's the way he like slithers around, but he's like really bulky and like just kind of like slams into you or like lays on top of you to crush you. But yeah, the Hutts, they're these like twins that it's this whole complicated thing. So Sigourney Weaver wants to find this like mysterious target named Coin, and he's like a threat to the Republic. And the only people who know where Coin is are the Hutt twins, who have taken over in Jabba's place. But they won't tell the Republic where Coin is unless Mando goes to retrieve their kidnapped nephew, who is the son of Jabba the Hutt, Rada, because they need him back on the throne or whatever. Okay, so that's the mission. But Mando gets to the planet and quickly finds out that Rada has not been kidnapped. Well, it's complicated. He kind of has, but he's been forced to fight in these gladiatorial battles But Rada pretty much is like, no, I want to be here. This is the only place where I belong. Like, and at first the crowd hated me, but and he says this, like, it's fine to say it like once, but he's a very stock character. He's the type of character he's like, my father was a monster. I don't want to be like him. I want to carve my own path. Even though I'm a Hutt, I want to be a good Hutt. I don't want to be like my dad. It does like every other line out of his mouth. It gets a little tiring. But this is his way. This is the way. This is the way. This is his way to not be like his father. He wants to be a gladiator fighter, and that's why he worked out. He got bulky, and he's winning these fights, and he's winning over the crowd. And for the first time, people love him for him, not just because of kowtowing, because he's Jabba's son. They like him for him because of the warrior he became, and that's like an interesting idea. And there's even like a neat little moment towards the end of this storyline where he loses. He has to fight Mando and he loses, and the crowd quickly like turns and they're like, "Oh yeah, kill him!" And you do see a quick little reaction shot of him where he's like, "Oh God, like I thought they were on my side," and he's crushed because they turned against him so quickly at the drop of a hat, And I wish we did more. That was like the one kind of interesting part of this whole movie, but I wish we did more. It's like a speck. Like we don't really do much with it, and it's over. Whatever. But yeah, Fett comes down, Mando comes over and is like, "I'm here to take you back," but he's like, "I don't want to go back. I want to fight in the games." And he's like, I'm gonna win my freedom anyway. If I win my next match, then I've saved up enough winnings to like buy my own freedom. And Mando's like, "Oh, okay." And it's like, yeah, all right. But then he goes and confronts the fight promoter, and he's basically like, yeah, screw that. I'm just going to buy his freedom because I need to return him to his aunt and uncle so that he can, so that I can get my information that I need. And the guy's like, "Well, no, I got some bad news for you. I'm setting up this, there's a term for it, but I forget what he calls it, but like, it's a rigged fight. Like he's having people bet on the Hutt losing, and so he's just gonna keep throwing enemies at the Hutt until the Hutt is eventually killed. It's all set up. It's rigged. There's no way the Hutt's gonna survive." And okay, this is where like none of this makes. This is the type of movie where you can't really think too hard about it because like none of this shit makes any sense at all. So it's revealed that this fight promoter guy has like it's all set up again. He's trying to kill off the nephew because, okay, hold on. So the aunt and uncle, in fact, want Rada dead because he is the heir to Jabba's throne, and they want to be the heirs to Jabba's throne, so they want him killed off. So the fight promoter is secretly has been working with the aunt and uncle this whole time, and that's why he's getting Rada killed off. Oh, okay, so. But okay, two things. Okay, so first of all, I would strongly argue, because Rada says openly he doesn't want to be like his father. He doesn't want the throne at all anyway, and he wants to be like a gladiator fighter anyway. He's already off doing his own thing. You two are already on Tatooine, basically on like what? Why do you need to kill him off at all? I don't understand. Like, you already are on the throne. Just be on the throne. He doesn't want it. You know what I mean? Like, just leave him alone. So that's one thing that kind of bothered me. Didn't make sense. But I guess they're worried like maybe he'll come back one day. He's a threat, so they need to kill off all potential threats. Fine, whatever. The other thing that makes no sense. Okay, so they arranged him to be killed off in the gladiator fights with the fight promoter. Why the hell would they send Mando there to free him? Why would they tell Mando that he's been kidnapped and to retrieve him? Because that would directly conflict with their plans to kill him off, right? Unless they like knew, they were like, oh well, we know that Mando will die on that mission. Like, why would they? Yeah, why would they think that? Like, that doesn't make any sense at all. None of it makes sense. Okay, moving on. So Mando learns this, goes back to Rada and tells him like the fight's rigged. Rada doesn't believe him, calls the guards. The guards gas Mando and knock him out. And by the way, this is like a thing that bothered me. Remember how I said in the first scene when he kills the walkers, like he's such an untouchable badass. He's the one we remember from season one and 2 of the show. He also kind of is the season 3 Mando, because he gets knocked out, for like an elite bounty hunter. He gets knocked out 1, 2, I want to say 3 or 4 times in this movie. It's really kind of embarrassing. It really is. And he's forced to remove his helmet. That's really embarrassing. Okay. Anyway, he's knocked out with gas, and as soon as that, like this movie is very predictable. I'm sorry, it's like it was really bothering me. So as soon as he's knocked out with gas, I'm like, he's gonna wake up in the pit and he has to fight Rada. Wait for it, and lo and behold, and like that's the thing that doesn't make a lot of sense is like because they wanted Mando to be killed here. Why would they leave his armor on? Why would they leave him with his weapons? Okay. So he fights Rada. And like I said before, he defeats Rada. They have a big fight, and at first he's like, I don't want to fight you. But then Rada's obviously trying to kill him, so he has to fight him. He defeats him, and everyone's like calling for Rada's blood, and that's where Mando surrenders. He drops his weapon. He's like, he does the thing. He's like, no, like I surrender. So he's beaten me. So he wins his freedom technically. And then the fight promoter says, he says, oh, he's free, all right, and that's where I like intercepted him. I'm like, I know what he's gonna say. He's like, he's free, all right. He's free to die, and that's what he says. And then he opens the cages and it lets all the monsters into the arena. And it is like that, battle royale thing where he's not supposed to win. He's not supposed to leave there alive. And then they basically destroy the arena and escape because of the monsters. That's another thing that like bothered me. Didn't make sense. So there's like this electric fence that's penning them all in, right, for the glider fight. But they intentionally let in this one monster. It's like a living electric spider or whatever. So of course, when they knock it into the electric fence, it shorts out the fence and allows everything to escape. Why would you, if you're using an electric fence, why would you intentionally send an electric monster in there that could probably short out the very thing keeping everything contained? Okay. Don't think too hard about this movie. Don't worry about it. So anyway, what happens? They get separated from Rada, and then the Hutts, they have this other bounty hunter. I don't think they ever name him. He's like this cool looking guy. I thought it was that gunslinger guy from the Clone Wars, Cad Bane or whatever, but no, it is not him. I don't believe it is a pre-existing character. I think it's a new character for this movie, but he's like this cool bounty hunter that has like a pet wolf or whatever, and he attacks Mando and knocks him out and brings him back to the Hutts where they remove his helmet. And I remember this being a huge fucking thing in this show because there's like this Mandalorian again. They're making it for newcomers, like you're not supposed to, I guess, reference the show, but this is a big thing in the show. Mandalorians don't take off their helmets, and if a helmet's ever removed, you kind of get kicked out of the club, and that's what happened to him in season 2. I forget exactly why, but he got his helmet knocked off or whatever, and it's a big deal, man. It's a big fucking deal. Like, season 3, a lot of season 3 was him, like, he had to go to this special planet and bathe in the waters of life or whatever and fulfill this prophecy just to be, like, back in the club, because it's a big deal. You're not supposed to take off your helmet. You can't be a Mandalorian anymore, basically. And then in this movie, when it happens, they take his helmet off. He's like, well, you two saw me, but no one else saw me. So if I kill you by the end of the movie, then it's all good. It's like, isn't it more of a code of honor thing? Like, as long as I kill all the witnesses, it's fine. I guess that's how that works now. Whatever. Bullshit. My bullshit meter's going. All right. Let's wrap it. It's going on. Let's wrap this up soon. What else? So yeah, this bounty hunter, I mean, he's badass, and he like straight up beats up Mando and knocks him out. And once again, I have to return to this original plan. So the Hutts always had this other guy working for them, right? This doesn't make sense. If they had this other bounty hunter who's very, very competent, arguably better than Mando, why didn't they just hire him to rescue Rada from the kidnapping? Oh wait, they never wanted him rescued. They did want him to be kidnapped because they wanted him to be killed in the gladiator fight so that they could have the throne. Wouldn't it be similar to have said bounty hunter / assassin kill Rada so that they could inherit the throne? None of this movie makes sense. I'm sorry. None of it makes sense. Anyway, so he falls in like this. They take his helmet off, but they let him keep his armor and his weapons, whatever. They throw him into this water pit. He fights like that cool white water snake you see in the trailer. That's another show-stopping scene. I'll say that scene also looks really good when he fights there's like merfolk down there, and there's also like the white sea dragon. He fights that. That was a really good looking scene. He manages to fight off the sea dragon, but he does get bitten and poisoned fatally, so he's dying now. By the way, this happens twice in the movie. When little Grogu on his shoulder is trying to get his attention, he like knocks on his helmet like really, really hard and fast. And like the first time it's cute, but like they do it like one time too many where it just gets annoying. Also, I don't know if you remember in Rise of Skywalker. This is like the only thing people liked in that movie. There's like that little creature, the Babu Frick or whatever. That I don't know if he specifically, but his like race returns in this movie. There's like a bunch of them running around that like team up with Grogu. They're, I found them kind of annoying. They're kind of like the minions. They just like go around like bad baby, you know. Like, I thought they were annoying, but like they're there for like the kids, I guess, or the people that like the cute characters and people that, you know, to remind people of like the one thing we liked in Rise of Skywalker. Fine, whatever. What else? So Grogu rescues Mando. Mando is dying and poisoned. Grogu uses the Force to heal Mando. I forget if he was like, if he could do that in the show. He was like slowly learning the Force, but like that's another thing I need to quickly complain about is like in this show. Okay, the first time that Grogu, like, you know, I think it was when Mando was about to be gored by that rhino thing in season 1. Grogu uses the Force to like pick it up and stop it, and it was a big show-stopping moment. It's like a big deal, like holy shit, Grogu can use the Force. But there have been diminishing returns every single time. We're on like, you know, the 50th moment now where it's supposed to be impressive when Grogu uses the Force to do something, to like block a blast or to move something or whatever, or to heal Mando, and it's like it's not impressive anymore. It's like, yeah, Grogu's a Jedi. He can use the Force. It's really not. I don't know. Maybe I'm the minority, but I don't think it has that like that wow factor it used to have. I mean, again, nobody saw this movie, so I think I'm right about that. But like, no one's like, holy shit, like Grogu just used the Force. It's like, yeah, I've seen that many times actually. Sorry, it's not really doing anything for me anymore. Also, I feel like I'm not in the minority here. Does anyone else hate the name Grogu? And that's not revealed until like season 2. Actually, the episode I just watched where he meets Ahsoka Tano and she like talks to Grogu and she's like, "Oh yeah, his name is Grogu." Like until then, everyone just called him the child or the baby Yoda. I kind of still prefer that. I mean, in my mind, I always called him. He's like a little Yoda, so I call him Yiddle. I call him Yiddle, Yittle, Yiddle. But yeah, Grogu. I don't know. It's fine, I guess. I thought I would get used to it. I still don't really like that name. Sorry. Anyway, Grogu heals Mando, but Mando is still poisoned. And I had to look this up, like, what happens, because I'm not even kidding. This movie's so fucking boring and long. There's a long sequence where Grogu has to, like, take care of, like, dying Mando, and he runs into that fish monster thing in the trailer. He's like, "You're not scared, are you?" He runs into that thing, and he's, like, trying to hide Mando's body and, you know, take care of him, and he uses the Force to, like, push him under this thing and hide him under the leaves or whatever. I'm not kidding. Like, I kind of looked up at the ceiling and my eyes rolled up into my head. I fell asleep. I swear to you, I fell asleep in this movie, even though it was like an IMAX 3D screening. And I was sitting like right at the front. I just like looked up at the ceiling and I nodded off for a few minutes. And by the time I woke up, Mando was like alive again or whatever. So I had to look this up. But like, what happens is, it just so and I hate this shit. It's so convenient. It just so happens that Grogu runs into this fish man who just so happens to know the correct, you know, combination of herbs to heal that specific poison that Mando has been poisoned with. Because if Grogu didn't run into that guy, like he can't heal poison. He just healed like the physical wounds. You know what I'm saying? Like Mando still would have died if Grogu just didn't, by coincidence, happen upon that guy in like a shed somewhere. So like, and why does that guy help him? Like he doesn't know him from Adam. Like, you know, like that guy could have been a bad guy. Like it's like, it's so convenient. It's so stupid. So anyway, yeah, Mando's back to normal. They have like a big fight. He fights like the bounty hunter again and kills him, and then, oh no, he doesn't. They do kill the snake monster, and they kill the Hutts, and Rhoda gets free because Sigourney Weaver and her X-Wing pilots, they show up and they save the day. And the bounty hunter guy, who still never got a name, who was actually more competent than Mando, he gets away too to like live another day. Maybe he'll be in the next movie or the next show or whatever. Who knows? Maybe he'll get his own show, or we finally learn his name or whatever. But yeah, it's like so bad. It's like so bad. Like who, like, what did we really accomplish by the end of this movie? We saved Rhoda. Like now he's like a thing. He works for the New Republic now. As far as like the deck of cards we keep talking about, he got the one guy at the very beginning of the movie. Then the coin guy. This was all about that coin guy who turns out to be the fight promoter. That was all in service to that. So yeah, we got the coin guy. Two targets. We got rid of 2 targets in the deck of cards. in a 2-hour and 15-minute movie. That is all we accomplished. And we only went to 2 fucking different planets. Man, man, and we only got like 2 visually impressive action sequences out of it. The thing on Hoth where he fights the walkers, and the fight with the giant the white water snake. Those are 2 pretty impressive scenes, and that's it. The rest of it was pretty predictable, pretty boring, pretty nothing, pretty non-consequential. This movie didn't really do anything. Like this, like you could have and a lot of people did skip this movie. You could have skipped this movie. By the time the next season of the show or the next movie or whatever comes out, the only thing you need to know, I'm trying to think. I mean, maybe this was the debut of Grogu force healing people. I forget if he could do that in the show. So maybe that's important. And then also, Mando took his helmet off again, but then he killed everyone who saw it, so it doesn't matter. Like we'll just never speak of that again. That again, it's like a filler episode that we just don't talk about it. He doesn't have to go back to the life water planet or anything. I mean, what else? We got the coin guy. Sigourney Weaver is a thing now. I doubt she'll come back. She was barely in this movie anyway to begin with. We took care of 2 targets in the deck of cards. There's plenty more. There's that bounty hunter guy. He'll probably be back. But like you could have skipped this movie. Absolutely nothing happened. Absolutely nothing came out of this movie. The only thing that came out of this movie is Rada will probably show up because he works for the New Republic again. But then, like, even then, if he shows up and you're like, oh, who's that? Oh, it's Jabba the Hutt's son. He was in that other movie, and you're like, oh, okay. Like, you don't really need to see this movie. There's no reason to see this movie. I'm sorry. Pedro's gonna ghost me. Pedro's gonna hate me now. Pedro's gonna ghost me for not loving this movie. I'm sorry, Pedro. I'm sorry. I still need to watch his show, The Last of Us, season 1 and 2. I'm sure that's really good. I've heard really good things about that. But this movie really wasn't that good. Again, it was a 6. The more I talk about it, I don't even want to give it a 6. I want to give it like a 5. It's like an average, at best, it's like an average movie. 5 out of 10. Whew, I really hope Star Wars isn't dead, but this is not a good sign. This would have been like, I was telling my buddy, I was like, this would have been a good double feature. Okay, put me in charge. Put me in charge. I'm in charge of this whole project. Okay, so the next movie, right? It's like whatever the next trilogy where like Rey's starting her Jedi Temple or whatever. If we're still doing that even, so at the start before that is like a 20-minute short before that movie. It's just that sequence where, man, it was like kicking ass and destroying the walkers, and you're like, coming soon, The Mandalorian season 4. Here's like a sneak preview of this awesome new season where Mando kicks all this out, and I'd be so excited. I'd be like, oh, holy shit, I have to watch that show when it comes out on Disney Plus next year. As far as this movie getting people excited, both for this movie and for future Star Wars projects, it gets like an F. Like, it didn't do anything. I didn't feel anything. I didn't feel any excitement for this project or for future projects. And there's no post-credit scene. There's no tease at the end. There's nothing. They could have done something. They could have done something. They could have done anything. They could have just had like a quick transmission where like what's her name? Ward's like on the phone. She's like, oh, Mando, I have another job. Like anything. They didn't do anything. The movie just stops. It just ends. There's no post-credit tease. Like, just have a quick thing where Sigourney Weaver says, oh, Mando, I just got a call. We're talking about that deck of cards. Look at your next one. And he flips it over, and it's fucking Grand Admiral Thrawn, baby. He has to go after Thrawn in the next movie or whatever. Holy shit, I'd be so excited about that. Or flip it over and it's fucking Darth Maul's alive somehow. He's back. Oh shit, he has to go after Darth Maul, like something like that. Like, you're like, holy shit. There was nothing. There was no moment like that where you're like, holy shit, I have to see the next movie now. like there's nothing. I have rambled on for too long. I apologize. I'll talk to you guys later. See ya.